Hey guys, my name is Brianna. Welcome to Simple Choice Homeschool. Today I am going to be talking about our group subjects, our family subjects. Some people call them couch subjects versus table subjects. So my last video we went over all my individual core subjects for my 9-year-old and my 6-year-old. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about all the rest, all the stuff we do together, which is honestly the best part. So first up, let's talk about science. So I actually don't use a set curriculum for science. In my last video, I kind of talked about how I'm sort of eclectic, sort of like my own Brianna style. I don't follow any one certain methodology. With that, in science, it really is what we're just interested in. And when you do it kind of in a unit study sort of way, I also kind of try to align it with the seasons. So for example, this last year, we did anatomy over winter. A couple of years ago, we did a giant garden unit during spring that I just pulled together stuff on my own. This spring, we did a little bit of volcano-ish type of thing. We had a miniature unit at the beginning of summer where we did kind of some like survival skills. That was really fun. And then now that we're late summer, we're doing a big ocean unit. So every time that we do a unit, I pull from all sorts of different places, all sorts of different resources. We've done campfire curriculums, we've done Good and Beautiful, we've done Waldock Way. Like I said, I've made up my own stuff. We've used things from Teachers Pay Teachers or free blog posts or really just anything that I can find. And I love to pull in all the books that I possibly can, games that I can find, small hands-on activities, manipulatives, crafts and art, and really just everything. Science is the part where we get to have so much fun together. All right, so for this year's science unit, like I said, we are doing oceans currently. Coming up in the fall, we'll be doing planets. But right now we're doing oceans. And for my main kind of, I guess, curriculum here is from the Good and Beautiful. They have a marine biology unit. So in that unit comes these things. You've got the parent guide, the student journal, and then for the younger kids, you have their own little activity book that all correlates with all of the lessons. Like I kind of mentioned in the last video, there are some Bible quotes that will come in and things like that, but it's really easy to take them out, substitute our own wording, what have you. And I do realize that at some point in time that we will not be able to use Good and Beautiful materials because at some point there's a line in the sand. When you're a secular homeschooler, there's a line in the sand when it comes to things like history and evolution specifically. They're hot topics. We're not going to get into that today. Just know that for now, I can pretty much modify the curriculum to fit how we need it to work. But I can't leave well enough alone, of course, so we don't just use the Good and the Beautiful curriculum, although that would be a really great curriculum in and of itself if that's the only thing you wanted to use. For my 3-year-old and 6-year-old, I actually like to pull in some of the lessons from the Wind and Waves unit that they also offer. They're not going to be in the exact same order. So what I did is I went through and I looked at all of the lesson names and I matched them up from one curriculum to the next and kind of figured out the pacing of how it would best match so we kind of stay on topic. I usually don't separate my kids for science, but for this unit, I realized that the marine biology was pretty far above their heads, and so I needed to pull in something that was a little more on there. And then for all of us homeschoolers, our favorite dearest author, Julia Rotham, we had to bring in one of her books. This is the Ocean Anatomy book, and as I'm sure you are well acquainted with, are beautiful and thorough illustrations and diagramming, great for nature journaling. Then I also picked up this Guess in 10 Oceans game. It's been really fun. We know nothing so far, so we are failing at this game. But I'm hoping that once we're done with the unit, we'll be able to answer these questions a lot easier. Then the next thing that I have is from Waldock Way. These are her discovery decks, and this one is about ocean creatures in particular. If you don't know what these are, definitely worth checking out her YouTube or her website, and she has discovery decks on every topic you could imagine. They're really great. And the last thing I have for our ocean unit is I picked up, just on Amazon, this big pack of plus blocks. And these are so much fun. There are 5 different sea creatures that you can build. They definitely keep my 9-year-old's hands busy when it's a longer lesson and she needs something to keep her occupied. All right, next up we have nature study. In my homeschool, we really like to focus on the natural world around us and natural learning and how learning is part of everyday life. There's not a set, this is school and this is life. It's all intertwined. And a big part of that is being outside and exploring nature and seeing the world around us and learning naturally as it comes along, paying attention to the seasons and moods and things like that. So for nature journaling, we really don't make it this big formal to do. We really live it out every day, but once a week, I do like to pull in a little more formality with it. And for this, over the years, I've used lots of different resources. There's a lot of really great books. I will try to link a whole bunch of them in the description of this video, but for this year, we are using a classic. We are using Exploring Nature with Children. This is a great resource. There's no pictures, nothing fancy. It goes through a calendar year and averages about 4 weeks per month. That way you have a little bit of flex time. And everything's really seasonally aligned. Where I live in the South, I kind of have to switch things around a little bit because if you're not familiar with the South, it's hot as hell. And there's no escaping it. And so when you're studying leaves in September, our leaves don't change until the end of October or sometimes November. And when it's supposed to be springtime in April, we've been there, done that in March. So this year for my daughters, I got them just these cute little plain notebooks that they got to decorate, and they're just blank pages. And they'll label the date, draw what they observe, pretty easy. For myself, because I like doing nature journaling too, got a little fancier of one. This is like a little leather bound kind of one. I'll link it as well. And I just draw and write some little descriptions as I go. Sometimes poems, sometimes just a brain dump, sometimes a quote that's from the Exploring Nature with Children guide. It really just depends. All right, so a new one for us this year is that we are incorporating a little more geography. Specifically, we're doing a 50 states study. I tried to do this last year. I tried to combine a few different curriculums, and that didn't quite work out for me. So this year we're trying something new. We're trying out Campfire Curriculum's 50 States unit. Right now I just have the first book in this unit. It covers the first 6 states. And this one goes by region, whereas Beautiful Feet kind of took a path from Grandma Gatewood, if you're familiar with it, where she hikes the Appalachian and then you kind of drive around the U.S., things like that. This one goes more by region, which I think I'm going to like better. That way we can be all in New England at one time, all in the Deep South at one time, Midwest, West Coast, all of those things. So far, so good on this. It's taking a little bit of getting used to just because it's a new style, but so far we're learning a lot. We still use the big giant map from Beautiful Feet books, and we still use some workbooks that I found on Amazon. Okay, I just looked at my stack. We use a lot more books with this unit. The first one being this enormous one, the 50 states. This is huge, but it's really cool, and it has a lot of facts about all of the states. Really big maps, some people, some historic information, the classic state bird, state tree kind of thing as well. We also picked up this National Parks of the USA book. It's not as thorough as I was expecting it to be, but it's still a great resource to have on hand. So for example, you have these little zones and then they take you through each individual park in those areas. A carryover from the Beautiful Feet curriculum of their 50 states is this Our 50 States book. This one's a little hard to follow along, but if you have a kid that's really into the tiny details, all the little annotations, they would really like this one. We have the gigantic Beautiful Feet books map. I'm not going to unfold it. That's ridiculous. We also pulled in Eat Your Way Across the USA. It's a cookbook from all the different states. Dr. Seuss map book. Geography from A to Z. This is another one pulled over from Beautiful Feet books. Another one pulled over, Grandma Gatewood. And then the workbooks that I chose for my girls are this one for my oldest and this one for my 6-year-old. And of course, a scrunch map so we can find all the places that we visit. The last thing that I pulled in for our 50 states geography study is another Guess in 10 game. This one's about the 50 states. Again, hopefully by the time we are partway through the year or all the way through the year, we'll be able to answer a lot of these questions. Another thing that's kind of new for us this year is that we are incorporating some PE skills. Normally, we just make these up as we go. We've done tug of war, we've done stretching and a little bit of weightlifting, just general fitness principles. My kids are very active, and so this isn't a huge requirement in my mind, but it's something fun to bring in so that they can learn some more group games, some more individual sports, and know these skills so that when they go play with friends or they're at the park, they can do those little pickup games and not worry about what the rules are. But I did find this book on Amazon. It's a little home educator's PE book. It has some really great ideas in it. Like this one is badminton and tennis, right? So it's just a quick little overview so that your kids can learn the general rules without diving in too deep of a wide variety of sports out there. I also really like for my kids to do some logic, and that's usually one of our rotations that we have. They can either do a logic workbook or they can play a logic game. I will link a bunch of the logic games that we have done in the past that I've really enjoyed. The other things that I like that I'm sure you've seen a ton of are these gritty kids workbooks and the Mindbenders workbooks. I love these. I would buy these year after year. This one, not quite my kids' style, but doesn't mean that it's a bad book. It's just not as good of a fit as the Mindbenders. And then just for fun, again with the Discovery decks, I love Wild Dog Way. Jessica, if you ever watch, I would like to be best friends, please. Another one of the Discovery decks that we bought are these movement activity cards, and they're really cute. When you scan the QR codes, you can do some yoga videos or some run-in-place video game style videos to just get your body moving. And the last thing that is kind of our family subject thing that we do, but I don't have anything physical to show, is that we have been huge fans of learning sign language from the beginning. I love the signing time videos. I did purchase the full set after many, many years of watching whatever free versions I could find on PBS or YouTube, but we finally gave in and bought the entire collection so that we could own it and watch it anytime we want. We'll watch these on vacation, we'll watch them during lunch. All right, guys, well, that is it for our family subjects, together subjects, group subjects, whatever you want to call it. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you found some really great resources to go check out. I will link all of those in the description so that you can check them all out. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.